Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is a project I've been meaning to get to for quite a while now. I'm sure I've mentioned it at least 2 or 3 times in the last few months. And what brought it about was our less than stellar summer last year. It started off kind of cool, then it got really hot, and then it cooled off again. It was just all over the map. And initially I had intended on putting some tubs out and doing the summer tubbing thing, but by the time the weather got to the point where it was, I think, stable enough not to have to worry about things, we were already pretty much halfway through the summer, and I'd only have maybe 3, 4 weeks left of reliable weather, and I decided not to do it. Now, even at the best of times, like a really good summer, we're only looking at maybe 10 weeks unless I want to actually heat up the tubs. So at that time I thought, well, why not hook up an indoor pond? And that way I can set up, do whatever I want. I never have to worry about taking it down or doing any of that other stuff. So that's what brought this project about. Now, obviously, it has been put off quite a bit because of various issues with shipping and COVID, you know, all that stuff that you've heard too many times already before. But I am going to get to it now. Now, part of the reason for getting to it now is I am going to be putting together that large U-shaped paludarium starting next week. And it's not so much that I need practice doing this, but there are a couple ways I could do the welding for the acrylic. And I wanted to test them out on this when I have a lot more freedom here to do what I want. And I do want, of course, the one for the customer to be as good as possible. Now, I am going to build templates and frames and holds for the glue up for that one. But I wanted to try a little bit of freehand here on the first couple of pieces. And then when we get to part 2 and 3 and so on, I'm going to try some other techniques for doing this up as well. Obviously, I'm going to be doing those in the next couple of days anyway, but I won't be able to show them to you all tonight, because otherwise you'd be sitting here for 45 minutes or so. So this is going to be part 1, and I'm just going to get the initial aspects of this set up. To start off with, this is going to be a sump, pretty much. This is a 50-gallon drum. I've had it for ages. I picked a whole pile of these up, I think about 4 initially, and I've been using them for all kinds of things, from water changes at clients' places, and just general storage for, it has an awful lot of volume in there. And it is going to not necessarily be a filtration system for this. It is going to have probably a fair amount of gravel in the bottom, and then probably some lava rock. I haven't decided whether this is going to be soft or hard water yet, so I haven't decided exactly what the media will be in there, but mostly it's just going to be a place where a lot of water can accumulate, and I can do water changes out of it. I'll probably end up drilling it and setting all that stuff up as well. Now, if you're wondering what this is a piece of 1/2 inch, it's 10 inches wide and it's over 4 feet long. This is cast acrylic. This stuff is really good, really hard, and I've had it for quite some time. A very good client of mine years and years ago gave it to me. Tom, if you're watching this is your acrylic finally getting to use. And it was this point I realized that one side of this is frosted. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do now. There's going to be a question coming up for you guys on which way to go for the rest of this build in a few minutes here. I'm going to do the first weld here. I'm going to do this freehand. Now, if this were at the client's, I would have framing system for this to hold everything in place, and that way it doesn't wobble back and forth and has plenty of time for it to set up before I try to manipulate it. But I'm going to do this first one freehand. You'll notice in a few seconds here it is going to, there it goes. It is kind of wobbly, and it does take a little extra time to set up. Now, that doesn't weaken the joint or anything, but you can end up with bubbles, so I won't be doing that obviously there. But I wanted to try that out here, just to get a feel for it. I am going to build those templates. That's my wife said, by the way. She popped in to say hi. Said, hey, I'm recording here, right? Anyway, so this is going to solidify, and I'm going to make sure it's at 90 degrees here in a few seconds, and then I'm going to let this cure for probably a couple hours before I attempt to move it. And that's one of the things that's going to happen when I start putting the large U-shaped palliatorium together. It needs a lot of cure time between each weld to ensure that each of them are rigid enough so that I don't have any issues when I lift up a piece and maneuver it into the next position for the next weld. Now, there are two styles of welds I can do for that job, and I'm going to be doing them for this. This is horizontal, so it has plenty of time for the methylene chloride to wick into the joint, and then obviously for it to evaporate and for the joint to become solid. I can't do horizontal welding for all of the joints in the other job. I have to do some vertical welding. That means the seam that's going up. Now, there's, hold on a second, I gotta think about this for a second. There's going to be 3 internal pieces goes around the pillar, and then there's 2 end pieces, and then there's 3 pieces that go around the outside. So I can frame up, you'll see this when I do the palliatorium build, I can frame up and do all but about 2 of those welds horizontally. So they'll be really good solid ones. But I really do want to practice doing the verticals, and that's part of the reason for doing this. And then, of course, again, that will be in part 2. Now, the question for you guys here. That is frosted. That is going to be translucent at best, that front piece. Now, the reason why I went with it in the first place, cast acrylic is really hard, so I don't need to put any framing on that. It'll just be that piece going across the front of it here. You'll see it in a few minutes. And that will set the water level, of course, as well. And this is not going to be filled. It's going to have lots of room for splashing, waterfalls, plants, all that sort of stuff. So I want you guys to let me know whether you think using this piece of frosted acrylic in the front and not having any framing for it is, a good look for it, or should I go with a piece of 1/4 inch that's obviously going to be much more flexible, so it will require having a top bracket and probably some extra welding on the bottom to beef up the joint down there, and of course to keep it from bowing, which is the big problem with acrylic. It will bow considerably. This will a little bit, but nowhere near as much as 1/4 inch will. And so I want you guys to let me know whether or not you like this look, if this is fine, because keep in mind this is going to be a pond. It's not necessarily, don't think of it as an aquarium, because as an aquarium you're not going to obviously be able to see through this, but this is going to be something that's going to have a lot of stuff growing up and out of it and around it, and you of course can still see in through the ends. But is that translucent frosted look enough to say that there's no point in using this piece to go with 1/4 inch? And the reason why I can't buy a piece of 1/2 inch of this size in cast acrylic is it's really expensive, and I can't afford it. It's just the reason why I went with this build in the first place in this style is because we had this piece of cast acrylic sitting around, and it was time to use it anyway. So that is your question. Which way should I go? This or 1/4 inch with a bunch of extra bracing and framing on it to keep it from bowing out? So please let me know in the comments below. That'd be much appreciated. And like I said, I can't afford the 1/2 inch piece, but I think it'll look quite nice this way. But again, you're not going to see anything from this angle. It is going to be just shadows moving back and forth. So let me know. That'd be, like I said, much appreciated. And always, thank you very much for watching. On Sunday, I am going to go do the giveaway for the 14K subs. So tune in for that. That'd be nice. That's where the hole's going to go, down into the sump. And like I said, it's just, I don't know. I could go either way on this. And I just want to know what your opinion is. So just let me know. And thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And bye for now.